Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Welcome to the Rahim TV channel. Today my class is about the tissue. What is tissue? Types of tissues. So first of all, look at the board with me. Tissue, a group of structurally and functionally similar cells and their intercellular materials is called tissue. Second, in animals, since we have to define and describe the tissue in perspective of animals, so in animals, classes of tissues. In animals, there are three classes of tissues on the basis of structure and four classes of tissues on the basis of function. Three, I have written on the board three. You look at it. There are three types of tissues on the basis of structure which the embryologist classified: ectodermal, mesodermal, endodermal. And other three classes on the basis of function: growth, coordination, support and movement, reproductive, hematopoietic, fluid tissues. Now we describe and we detailedly define the tissue. Tissue is a group of cells, but those cells which are structurally similar. Their structure is similar and their intercellular materials are similar. Similarly, these cells will be functionally also similar. Their function will be the same. For example, nerve cells have the function of coordination. So all the nerve cells make a tissue. Similarly, blood cells have to transport materials, so their function is the transport. So all the blood cells, red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets, these all make a tissue. The other point is that since it is a group of cells, so tissue will not be found in unicellular organisms. It will only be found in multicellular organisms. This is enough about the tissue. In animals, there are three classes of tissues on the basis of structure, which are classified and described by the embryologists. You know the embryologist. These three classes are the ectoderm, mean ectodermal tissues, all those cells which form and make the outer layers of the organs. For example, epithelial cells. Second class on the basis of structure is mesodermal tissues. Mesodermal tissues are those tissues which form and compose the mesodermal layers in the animals and in organisms. Similarly, the third class of tissues on the basis of structure is the endodermal tissues. Endodermal tissues. Those cells which form and compose the anterior surface, internal surface of the organs. Those form the endodermal tissues. These three classes are on the basis of structure of tissues. Now, we describe the other four classes of tissues which are formed and classified on the basis of function of cells. So, functionally, there are four classes of tissues. First, those tissues which help in growth, repair, and structuring of animals. These cells make the first class of the tissues. All those cells which help in the growth and repairment of the body is called the first class of the tissue. Second class is the coordination. All those cells in animals which help in coordination of the organs with each other in the body. So these cells form tissues, and this is the second class of tissues. For example, nervous cells form the nervous tissues. Nervous tissues help in coordination of the organs with each other. Means they connect the organs with each other. Neurons are the basic units, means cells of the nervous tissues. This is the second class of tissues. Third class of the tissues on the basis of function is support and movement helping tissues. Those tissues which help in support and movement of the bodies. All those cells which help in support and movement of the body make the third class of the tissues. For example, the ground tissues, bones, muscles, etc. These are those tissues which help in support and movement of the body. The fourth class of the tissues is the cells which help in the reproduction and blood formation and fluid formation. These all cells which help in reproduction, blood formation or hemopoietic function, and fluid formation make the fourth class of the tissues. For example, the blood cells help in fluid formation. Similarly, ovaries and testes, these help in reproduction, so they form the fourth class of tissues. And hemopoietic tissues are those tissues which help in RBC formation or blood formation. So these tissues are forming and making the fourth class of the tissues. So at the last, today we describe tissue, its definition, in three classes of the tissues on the basis of structure, and four classes of the tissues on the basis of what? On the basis of function.